Hello everyone, hope you're all doing great. In today's video, I'm going to prepare you for your peer critique. Now we all know that this is the phase of our peer critique report. All right, so let's get started. First of all, try to write under this your name. For instance, I assume that my name is Aisha Al-Alawi, right? It's very important for you to write your name. Usually students forget about it because I don't know why, but it's really confusing those teachers whose students are more than one group. All right, so I'm going to decrease it to 12 is enough and it shouldn't be bold. Let's say my name is Aisha Al-Alawi and I am from group 5. So I will do that, and this is a little help to your teacher. Okay, now what do we have to do? Let me maximize it a little bit for you so that you can see it on a wide range. Okay, describe your personal reflection on the speech you just observed. Now we all know you are done with your third speech, that is informative speech, and you are supposed to critique your friend or do the peer critique for your classmate. So the task is you have to describe your personal reflection. How did you feel on the speech you just observed? You didn't give the speech, you have observed that speech. Every answer shall be a complete sentence. Answers as yes or no or 2 or 3 words will not be accepted. It's really interesting. Sometimes students they say, teacher, yes it was. Like, this is also not a complete sentence. Yes it was, it's 3 words and we don't consider it as a complete answer. So try to give good and complete answers. An example is given for your guidance. Okay, let's have a look to the example. The first question is the same as you have the question in your report. So it says, what was the topic that your classmate talked about? Now your answer is, the topic that my classmate just informed about or spoken about was why it's critical for graduates to know about 21st century skills. Now don't worry, I know that for informative speech you might are thinking like talking about you can speak about simple things also. For instance, you love your bedroom, or you love your house, or you love your car, or you love your mobile, or any important information you really want to give. So you can speak about it, but I think it's very critical for you as graduates to know about the 21st century skills. So usually I ask my students to think about those topics that are quite critical for them to know as graduates. For instance, why it's critical for graduates to know about 21st century skills, or the topic she spoke on was informing about the importance of tourism for the economy of the Sultanate or for the economy of Oman. So you can take any one of this. Now let's get started with that, and it should be in the, yeah, this is already in the middle. So I would dash it a little bit here for a nice look. Now I'm going to take a start. Aisha is now writing the report. So first of all, what I would do, I would remove all of that, because this is not what I want, and neither I'm going to give this to my teacher. So the topic that my classmate just informed about or spoken about was why it's critical, why it's critical for graduates to know about. So I would like to have this one. Control C, and I would bring it here, Control V, and I would delete the rest. Okay. Now there can be other topics also. For instance, recently some of my students have got iPhone 15 Pro Max. Congratulations to those students. Yes, you can speak about its features, why it was very important for you to buy it. Important features, those who didn't know about it. Okay, you can give 3 points, no problem. But I would always encourage those students, rather I can even give a mark extra to those students who give me topics like how to think out of the box, or what are 21st century skills, or why 21st century skills are important, or what is fourth industrial revolution, or how to be an entrepreneur, like that. Okay, something that is equivalent to your level. Now the first question is answered. What was the topic that your classmate talked about? The topic that my classmate just informed about was why it's critical for graduates to know about 21st century skills. Or you can do the same. that the topic the class fellow just spoke about or delivered was why it's critical for it. So it's up to you, right? Okay. What was interesting part of this topic? Now, for instance, this is my classmates or my. If it's difficult for you to say classmate again and again, you can say my friend. Why it's critical for graduates to know? Okay, now what was interesting part of this topic? You would say. See, I'm starting like a full sentence, so I would write the interesting part of his speech. His speech. Now, if it's a boy, or so it's his, but it's a girl. Oh, I'm Aisha, so I have to say of her speech. Of her speech was the content itself. Now, what is content? Content means information, right? Content itself, as I didn't know much about the 21st century skills. Okay, so you liked the information itself, you liked the content. You can also say it was the information itself, but better to say content itself. Okay, did you feel this topic was interesting to your audience? Okay, so make it looking like a question. It's good that we would highlight it. Did you feel this topic was interesting to your audience? Yes, definitely. I felt this or her topic was really interesting to the audience. Okay. Yeah, I definitely I felt her topic was really interesting to the audience. Okay, so now to your audience, you must not say to the audience. This is enough. Okay. Now, what is your proof that the topic was interesting to your audience? So always speak like a casual talk or conversation because you're reflecting, right? So you can say, well, I think. Okay, you are giving the proof, but you are speaking like a conversation. You would say, well, I think the interest of the audience was very evident, or okay, I would write it evident even if you're not using it, so you can say clear. Better try to have a little bit, higher vocabularies. Now, evident means very waziha, very clear. You can see it very clearly, right? Was very evident. So if you see the word evident, better not to use clear, okay? But if evident is difficult for you, you can say clear, no problem. But choose one, huh? You can't say was very evident, clear, no. So I think the interest of the audience was very evident through their facial expressions and the pin drop silence in the class as we were interested to hear her. There is a lot of were. Okay, we would remove that. All right, so you said, yes, I think the interest of the audience was very evident through their facial expressions and the pin drop silence in the class as we were interested to hear her. So you gave two proofs. One, the facial expressions of the audience. This is your first, I would say, proof. And the pin drop silence. What is a pin drop silence? I mean, even if a small pin drops on the floor, you can hear that sound. So this pin drop silence was your second proof. But you must not have to make it red as I did. I just did it because I wanted to show you what are the evidences. So done. We are done with introduction part. To repeat, I would say what was interesting part of this topic? The interesting part of her speech was the content itself, as I didn't know much about the 21st century skills. Did you feel this topic was interesting to your audience? Yeah, definitely. I felt her topic was really interesting to the audience. What is your proof that the topic was interesting? Well, I think the interest of the audience was very clear, or was very evident through their facial expressions and the pin drop silence in the class, as we were interested to hear her. Okay, now the strengths. I know that your report is coming with these dots, so I already have removed other places, so don't worry, I'm removing it for your to show it to you. Now in the strength part, okay, now you would say you have to give 3 strengths of your friend, right? Okay, 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses. So your first strength would be, I would like to mention that her preparation for the speech was her first strength. What happened to my spelling? Was first strength. Okay, she well managed the time, and she didn't forget any point during her speech. So this is your strength number 1 that you would like to rate. Coming to strength number 2, let's think about it. So I would say her eye contact was her second strength, I must say, because she could easily manage. Now she could easily manage. Already you said could easily manage, so no need for managed. Okay, she could easily manage her eye contact towards every student available in the class, or she could easily manage, she could evenly manage eye contact, means she could see everywhere evenly, like to both towards the girl side and to the boy side. So this is enough, I guess. Her eye contact was her second strength, I must say, because it's your opinion. Because she could easily manage her eye contact towards every student available in the class. Or if I make another sentence, if this one is difficult to you, so you would say, in my opinion, but we would keep the same eye contact as her second strength, right? In my opinion, managing good eye contact was her second strength, as she saw both sides of the class, what it is, boys and girls evenly. Okay, boys and girls evenly. All right, so this is all about her second strength. Now I'm going to write the third strength. So I would say, I must say that her third strength was her level of energy throughout the speech. We didn't feel if she is nervous or confused, because her good level of energy. All right, so that's her third strength. And now going towards the weaknesses. All right, let's have a quick look to the strengths that I have. I would like to mention that her preparation for the speech was her first strength. She well managed the time and she didn't forget any point during her speech. Good. Her eye contact was her second strength, I must say, because she could easily manage her eye contact towards every student available in the class. And in my opinion, okay, it's very important for mentioning this, or you can choose any one of it, okay? Or in my opinion, managing good eye contact was her second strength, as she saw both sides of the class towards boys and girls evenly. I think this is better if I remove both of them and I keep one. All right. Strength number 3, I must say that her third strength was her level of energy throughout the speech. We didn't feel if she's nervous or confused because of her. See, rereading is always good because of her good level of energy. Okay, now talking about her weaknesses. Okay. It's important, so it's bold, so I would make it. Okay, I understand. Okay, because I want it more. Your peer critique should be more reflective, like you're talking in your daily life or in a conversation. So don't make it very formal. So you can take a start in a nice way. Say, I understand that she delivered a very good speech, but I would also like to help her in identifying certain points to improve. Her Well, it's not mandatory that you may take a start like that, but it's the best way to take a start like that. You might not have to write it for every weakness, but it's enough if you write in the beginning, right? So her first weakness to me was her low level of volume. She was quite low because those friends sitting at the back rows couldn't hear everything. Okay. Usually I sit at the back of the class, or I'm not sure about your teachers, but usually teachers are sitting at the back of the class to observe the student. So you can also add this statement: I wonder if the teacher could hear her well. Again, it's not mandatory to write that one, but if you really want to add more I would say reality to your speech, peer critique, that would be nice. I wonder if the teacher could hear her well. Okay, her weaknesses. Okay, weakness number 2, she shall also focus on her pronunciation, as some of the words were not pronounced properly. Okay, I think, okay, if you remember here, some words, for instance, engine. Okay, what could be the example? For instance, usually you should, yeah, specialization, right? Because if the student is talking about 21st century skills are very important for us um, to learn what are the requirements of graduate skills, and they are embedded in our courses for our specialization courses. So students usually make a problem in the pronunciation of the word specialization. So you can give an example. For instance, the word specialization, or talk, because some of them say talk. It's not talk, it's talk, right? this doesn't cast a good impression if some basic if some words are wrongly pronounced. All right. For instance, is blue because there is no comma. Okay. So she shall also focus on her pronunciation as some of the words were not pronounced properly. For instance, the word specialization or talk. This doesn't cast a good impression if some words are wrongly pronounced in a speech. Okay, what else you want to suggest your friend to improve? Okay, I think, okay, I'm thinking quite bold, so I would, okay, I think my friend shall consider, because this is the third one, so I would say shall also consider the improvement of tone. Okay, now tone means in simple words, I say to my friend to my students that tone means the life towards words. For instance, if you say sit down, so sit down is polite. Sit down, so it's strong. So it's not the intonation, it's the tone, right? So the improvement of tone, such as if some point was very important in the speech, such as the value of critical thinking, she could emphasize it. She could emphasize it with the rising tone. Okay, so this is just a suggestion, right? For instance, if critical thinking or communication skills she was mentioning, so she might have said critical thinking is also very important. However, you were trying to suggest that critical thinking is very important. So this is what you are trying to suggest in terms of enhancing the tone. All right. So this is the gap. Okay. Coming towards the conclusion, have a quick look to the weaknesses. You identified her first weakness as low level of volume. Second one was her pronunciation. And the third one, you thought that it's her tone. All right. Now, coming to suggesting the improvement, I would say you have to suggest her 3 ways. I mean, not the 3 ways. You have to answer 3 questions. Which one of the weaknesses would you suggest to improve? I would suggest to improve her. I would like to suggest my friend to improve her volume, as it is very important to be heard when it comes to speeches. If we are low in our volume, then there is no use of okay, there is no use of, or I would say, if we are low in our volume, there is a big chance to lose marks due to no audibility, because you are not audible. Okay, now I think I'm seeing these yeah, they are quite smaller for the conclusion part, so we should make it bigger. Okay, so that you can see it. Okay, Now, I would like to suggest my friend to improve her volume as it's very important to be heard. Okay, you can even emphasize because speeches, you are speaking and we are listening. So, and if we are unable to listen, what's the point? So, as it's very important to be heard when it comes to speeches, if we are low in our volume, then there is a big chance to lose marks due to no audibility. Okay, now how shall she or he should do that? Shall improve it. Tell us specifically what shall he or she do. Okay, what I do with my students, usually I ask them to have more than one plan, not one plan. Tell me, I will do it like point wise, 1 2 3, so we can go with more than a point. Okay, well, and this well is quite big, so I would minimize it. Well, I would like to suggest her certain ways to improve her volume, such as, okay, now in your mind you are listing, so you don't have to say such as colon and one. No, such as, number one, she can speak louder than, well, I have to make a distance. Okay, she can speak, or she shall, not can, she shall speak louder than her usual level of volume. This will help in improving her volume. Number two, what she can do is she can practice within the classes when any classroom is empty, as preparing for increasing the volume. The volume is different at home as compared to the big size of classes. Your classes size are not like the size of your bedrooms or your houses. So they are bigger usually. So always, and this is what I always suggest to my students, that sometimes you can see there is a class which is empty, there is no one. So you can ask any one of your friend, or two or three or four, or even must not be friends of friends. So you can take them to the class and ask them to sit in different sides of the back benches, and you stand where you have to stand to present. And in this way you can ask them if they can hear you in a good volume. All right, number three, what else she should do? She can, in the same way, she can practice speaking louder with friends in an empty class. Okay, and this is what also happened with one of my student, and she practiced it and it really helped. She can practice speaking louder with friends in an empty class, but making sure that it's not affecting any other classes around, any classes. Okay, any other classes around. Okay, it's not a must to have 3 points. You can suggest even one, but I always try to have plan B, not only plan A. That's why I suggest this to my students, to have something in mind, like if that doesn't work, then what? Okay, now coming to when shall she or he start the plan. Okay, when it when it comes to what's happening, okay, we would, when it comes to improvement, I think we shall start working on it as soon as possible, as it will be always helpful to start earlier. Besides, there is one more speech left to grade, in addition to in addition to 2 more critiques. Okay. All right, I think this is a good answer. You can even end it here. Beside, there is one more speech to go. Okay, or there is one more speech to go. And this plan may help her getting good grades. All right, let me have a quick look. What did we write for conclusion? Which one of the weaknesses would you suggest her to improve? I would like to suggest my friend to improve her volume, as it's very important to be heard when it comes to speeches. If we are low in our volume, then there is a big chance to lose marks due to no audibility. How shall he or she should improve? What specifically? Okay, well, I would like to suggest her certain ways to improve her volume, such as she should speak louder than her usual level of volume. This will help in improving her volume during speeches. Okay, she can practice within the classes when okay, when we say within the, she can practice now in the classrooms, in the classroom, when any classroom is empty, as preparing for increasing the volume is different at home as compared to the big size of classes. Okay, in the same way, she can practice speaking louder with friends in an empty class, but making sure that it's not affecting any other classes around. Okay, any other class around. All right, when shall he or she start? When it comes to improvement, I think we shall start working on it as soon as possible, as it will be always helpful to start earlier. Besides, there is one more speech to go, and this plan may help her getting good grades. Would you like to see the whole speech again? I would quickly read it. I'm assuming I'm Aisha Al-Alawi, and we are reading our peer critique report, and you have not to forget that you will write your name under it and the group number. What was the topic that your classmate talked about? The topic that my classmate just informed about was just the topic that my classmate just spoke about was why it's critical for graduates to know about 21st century skills. What was interesting part of this topic? The interesting part of her speech was the content itself, as I didn't know much about the 21st century skills. Did you feel this topic was interesting to your audience? Yeah, definitely. I felt our topic was really interesting to the audience. What is your proof? Okay, well, I think the interest of the audience was very evident through their facial expressions and the pin drop silence in the class, as we were interested to hear her. Okay, strength number 1, I would like to mention that her preparation for the speech was her first strength. She well managed the time and she didn't forget any point during her speech. Number 2, her eye contact was her second strength, I must say, because she could easily manage her eye contact towards every student available in the class. Number three, I must say that her third strength was her level of energy throughout the speech. We didn't feel if she is nervous or confused because of her good level of energy. Okay, weaknesses. Number one, I understand that she delivered a very good speech, but I would also like to help her in identifying certain points to improve. Her first weakness to me was her low level of volume. She was quite low because those friends sitting at the back rows couldn't hear everything. She was quite low in volume, because when we say she's low, it means she's feeling low or she's sad. So better to clarify. She was quite low in volume, as those friends sitting at the back rows couldn't hear everything. I wonder if the teacher could hear her well. Number two, she shall also focus on her pronunciation, as some of the words were not pronounced properly. For instance, the word specialization or talk. This doesn't cast a good impression if some words are wrongly pronounced in a speech. Three, I think my friend shall also consider the improvement of tone, such as if some point was very important in the speech, such as the value of critical thinking, she could emphasize it with the rising tone. Conclusion, which one of the weaknesses would you suggest to improve? I would like to suggest my friend to improve her volume, as it's very important to be heard when it comes to speeches. If we are low in our volume, then there is a big chance to lose marks due to no audibility. How shall she improve? And specifically, okay, so you are saying, well, I would like to suggest her certain ways to improve her volume, such as she shall speak louder than her usual level of volume. This will help in improving her volume during speeches. She can practice in the classroom when any classroom is empty, as preparing for increasing the volume is different at home as compared to the big size of classes. In the same way, she can practice speaking louder with friends in an empty class, but making sure that it's not affecting any other class around. When shall she start working? When it comes to improvement, I think we shall start working on it as soon as possible, as it will be always helpful to start earlier. Besides, there is one more speech to go, and this plan may help her getting good grades. I hope it's clear and you have benefited from it. There might be different strengths, there might be different weaknesses for your friend that you would be suggesting, and I wish you best of luck for writing a very good peer critique. If you have any queries, any questions, you can always write in the chat box, and I would love to give answer. Stay happy, stay healthy.